Imagine describing this 10 years ago. The President of the United States has an official Memecoin bearing his name. It trades globally. It has its own blockchain contract. Its largest affiliated holders control a significant share of the token supply. Holding it can potentially qualify people for exclusive community events. And in Indonesia, the asset appears on the official CFX crypto asset list. That is not a hypothetical future. That asset exists. It is called Trump. Donald Trump is currently serving as the 47th President of the United States. And official Trump has become one of the more unusual experiments at the intersection of celebrity, politics, crypto community, speculation, and digital ownership. But before you decide whether Trump is interesting, ridiculous, valuable, dangerous, or some combination of all four, you need to understand what it actually is. Because Trump is not Bitcoin. It is not a stablecoin. It is not equity in the Trump organization. And buying it does not give you ownership of Donald Trump's businesses. So what exactly are you buying? Let's begin there. The first mistake is trying to analyze Trump as though it were Bitcoin or Ethereum. Its official positioning is different. The project describes Trump as a meme asset connected with the imagery, identity, and community surrounding Donald Trump. The official website says the token is intended as an expression of support and engagement with the ideas associated with the Trump symbol and artwork. It also explicitly says it is not intended as an investment opportunity or security. That places Trump squarely inside the Memecoin category. And the US Securities and Exchange Commission's Division of Corporation Finance has described typical meme coins as crypto assets, whose value is driven primarily by market demand and speculation, often with limited or no conventional functionality. That is important. With Bitcoin, people can debate monetary scarcity. With Ethereum, they can discuss network activity and applications. With a stablecoin, you can examine reserves and redemption. With a Memecoin, another variable becomes extremely important. Attention, community attention, cultural relevance, narrative, celebrity, social media, and market psychology. Trump has an unusually powerful version of all of those ingredients. But attention is not the same thing as fundamental cash flow. Thousands of meme coins are created around internet jokes. Most disappear. Trump has something most of them do not: a globally recognizable human brand. The official website identifies it as the only official Trump meme associated with Donald Trump and publishes its official contract information. That immediately gives the token a narrative that anonymous meme coins cannot easily reproduce. People do not need to learn what Trump means. They already have an opinion, some strongly positive, some strongly negative. And that is precisely why the token can attract attention far beyond the normal crypto audience. Trump is therefore interesting not because it introduced revolutionary blockchain technology. It did not. The interesting experiment is whether cultural identity, community membership, celebrity associations, and access to experiences can themselves create persistent economic demand for a token. That is a very different investment thesis, and a much more speculative one. Now we reach one of the most important parts of the Trump story: supply. According to the official project, 200 million Trump tokens were available on day one. The total supply is planned to grow to 1 billion tokens over 3 years as different allocations unlock according to their schedules. But there is an even more important number: 80%. The official website states that CIC Digital LLC, an affiliate of the Trump organization, together with Fight LLC, collectively own 80% of the Trump meme allocation, subject to a 3-year unlocking schedule. That does not automatically tell you what the price will do, but it gives you a structural question every serious trader should understand. What happens as previously unavailable supply becomes available? This is called dilution or supply overhang risk. Imagine demand stays exactly the same, but more tokens become tradable. Economically, the market now has more supply competing for that demand. Of course, demand could also increase. The token could gain new holders. The community could grow. Events could create more attention. Markets do not move based on one variable. But ignoring the unlock schedule, because today's circulating supply looks attractive, is incomplete analysis. With Trump, the ownership structure is not a footnote. It is one of the central facts. There is another detail that deserves attention. The project's current terms explicitly acknowledge that Fight LLC, CIC Digital LLC, or their affiliates may sell or otherwise dispose of Trump tokens they hold under disclosed disposition arrangements. The terms also acknowledge that those affiliated parties may have financial interests that conflict with the interests of other token holders. That is unusually direct language, and traders should actually read it. The same terms explain that promotional or community activities may occur, while token disposition programs are operating. In plain English, a project can be generating excitement while affiliated holders may also have their own economic interests. That does not prove that the token will fall. It does not prove wrongdoing. It simply means promotional attention should never substitute for understanding supply and ownership. Memecoin analysis often stops at Twitter. Serious analysis should continue into the terms and conditions. One of the more interesting developments is that Trump has moved beyond simply existing as a tradable meme. The project now operates a coin club and holder-based programs. Its current coin club terms say holding at least one Trump can make a user eligible to apply for membership, while potential benefits can include events, promotions, merchandise discounts, invitation-only gatherings, and other experiences. The project has also used time-weighted token holdings to rank participants for exclusive events. In 2026, for example, Trump holder programs included qualification structures connected with events at Mar-a-Lago and other experiences, with rankings based partly on how much Trump participants held and how long they held it. This is worth studying because it changes the question. Trump is no longer merely asking, will people speculate on this meme? It is also experimenting with, can holding a token become a form of community membership? Can ownership unlock experiences? Can a token function partly like a digital loyalty asset? That does create a form of utility, but be precise. It is not the same kind of utility as paying blockchain gas fees or earning cash flow from a business. The utility is primarily community, status, access, collectability, and experience. Whether the market ultimately values those things is another question. This leads directly to volatility. Trump is attached to one of the most recognizable and news-sensitive individuals in the world. A conventional company can publish quarterly earnings. Trump does not have quarterly earnings. Instead, market attention can react to political events, Donald Trump's public appearances, crypto announcements, community events, social media activity, token unlocks, large holder activity, and broader Memecoin sentiment. CFX itself explains that statements by influential figures can trigger substantial crypto price movements within minutes or hours, and identifies market psychology as an important driver of crypto volatility. For Trump, that relationship may be especially powerful. The same person is simultaneously a globally recognized political figure, a business brand, a media personality, and the identity around which the Memecoin community is built. That means the token can react to events that have almost nothing to do with blockchain technology. If you buy Trump expecting predictable fundamentals, you may be analyzing the wrong asset. The American regulatory context is also interesting. In February 2025, the SEC's Division of Corporation Finance published a staff statement explaining its view that transactions involving the kinds of meme coins described in the statement generally do not involve securities under federal securities law. The staff characterized typical meme coins as assets purchased primarily for entertainment, social interaction, and cultural purposes, whose value is driven mainly by market demand and speculation. But there is an important qualification. The statement itself says it represents staff views, and that the legal analysis depends on the specific facts and circumstances. Even within the SEC, Commissioner Caroline Crenshaw publicly responded that the category and analysis could create uncertainty in particular cases. So a better way to describe the situation is not the SEC officially declared every Memecoin legal. That would be far too broad. The more accurate statement is SEC staff provided a framework suggesting that typical meme coins with the characteristics described generally do not constitute securities transactions. That nuance matters. Now we reach the part that matters for our audience. Indonesia. Trump is not merely a token that Indonesians can find somewhere offshore. Official Trump appears in CFX's current official list of crypto assets under the symbol Trump and identifier Trump-1429. CFX's trading data also shows trading activity for official Trump in rupiah. That is an important distinction. Indonesia has a regulated digital asset ecosystem. The fact that an asset appears on the CFX list means it belongs to the set of crypto assets permitted within that market structure. It does not mean the government guarantees the price. It does not mean OJK or CFX recommends buying it. It does not mean Trump is low risk. And it certainly does not mean an investor cannot lose money. Permission to trade and endorsement as an investment are completely different concepts. A casino can legally operate. That does not mean every bet inside it is attractive. The same distinction applies here. There is another distinction familiar from our other videos. Trump being permitted as a crypto asset does not turn Trump into Indonesian money. The token exists on the digital asset side of Indonesia's regulatory framework. Rupiah remains the currency around which Indonesia's domestic payment system operates. So the practical relevance of Trump in Indonesia is primarily holding, trading, portfolio exposure, and digital asset activity through appropriate regulated channels, not replacing rupiah at your hotel, restaurant, or local business. A token can be legal to trade without becoming legal tender. Those are completely different legal functions. One of the most practical risks has nothing to do with politics or economics. It is simply buying the wrong token. Anyone can create a token and call it something that sounds official. Solana Explorers already contain many unrelated tokens using Trump-related names. That is why the ticker alone is not enough. The official project publishes its contract addresses and specifically warns users to rely on official Trump channels. The original Solana contract published by the project is 6P6XGHYF 7AEEE6TZ KSMF KO444 WQOP15 ICUSQI2 JFGIPN. The project currently also publishes an official Toron contract. If you are trading through an Indonesian regulated provider, verify exactly which asset and network the provider supports. Do not search the word Trump. Choose the logo that looks nicest and assume you have found the correct asset. Blockchain transactions are very democratic. They allow almost everyone to create a token. Unfortunately, scammers noticed. If you are considering Trump, 5 questions matter more than predicting tomorrow's price. First, Why are you buying it? Community membership, speculation, a short-term trade, collectability? You should know the answer. Second, what is your time horizon? A Memecoin trader and a 3-year holder face completely different risks. Third, do you understand the token supply? The total planned supply is significantly larger than the original day one availability, and affiliated entities collectively hold a substantial allocation subject to unlocking. Fourth, how much volatility can you actually tolerate? Not emotionally, financially. A token driven heavily by narrative can move quickly in both directions. And fifth, are you absolutely certain you are buying the official asset? A recognizable name does not protect you from a fake contract. Notice what these questions do not ask. Is Trump good? Is Trump bad? Will Trump win the next argument on television? Those may influence attention, but they are not a risk management strategy. This is where Sungazer fits. Our role is not to tell clients which political figure to support, and it is not to tell every client to buy Trump. Our role begins with something more practical. If a digital asset exists within Indonesia's regulated ecosystem, how does a foreign client access and navigate that ecosystem appropriately? Sungazer Live operates as a crypto exchange aggregator and financial navigation partner for foreigners whose financial activities intersect with digital assets in Indonesia. That can include helping clients understand which regulated Indonesian providers support a particular asset, comparing available routes, understanding local liquidity, navigating Indonesian banking onboarding for eligible foreign clients, and helping clients understand how their international digital wealth connects with Indonesia's financial infrastructure. The asset may be Bitcoin, USDC, Trump, or another digital asset permitted within Indonesia's regulated ecosystem. The principle is the same. Start with the client's objective, then understand the asset, then understand the regulated route, not the other way around. Trump is an unusual asset. It combines a globally recognized name, a Memecoin, a large online community, a concentrated token allocation, an evolving membership and experience ecosystem, and a market driven heavily by attention and speculation. In Indonesia, official Trump is currently included in CFX's crypto asset list. But remember what that means. It means the asset can participate in the regulated crypto market structure. It does not make Trump a share of the Trump organization. It does not make it a stablecoin. It does not guarantee its value, and it does not remove the risks of Memecoin speculation. The smartest way to approach an asset like Trump is not to begin with, will the price go up? Begin with, what exactly am I buying? Who controls the supply? What can change that supply? What creates demand? What rights do I actually receive? And what happens if the narrative disappears? If you are a foreigner in Indonesia and need help navigating Trump or other digital assets through Indonesia's regulated crypto ecosystem, contact Sungazer Live. We help international clients navigate crypto exchange access, regulated digital asset routes, local liquidity, and Indonesian banking onboarding. WhatsApp and Telegram at Sungazer Live. Helping international clients understand not only how to access digital assets in Indonesia, but what they are actually accessing